going to read Double Trouble in Walla, Walla. And that's an actual real city in the state of Washington. It was an ordinary Monday morning in Walla Walla until Lulu raised her hand in class. Mrs. Bell, I feel like a nitwit. Nope, silent. Very good, and as soon as I keep reading, hands down. My homework is all higgledy-piggledy. Last night it was in tip-top shape, but now it's a big mismatch. Mrs. Bell said, nitwit, higgledy-piggledy, mismatch? Lulu, stop that flip-flop chitter-chatter or you'll be in double trouble. Lulu said, but I'm not trying to flip-flop chit-chat. I just had an itty-bitty problem with my homework. Mrs. Bell scowled. All right for you, Lulu. If you're going to shilly-shally and dilly-dally with all this fancy-schmancy yak-yak, then we'll just have to trick-trot down to the principal's office. Yak-yak, shh-shh, blah-blah. Looky-looky, ma. Mrs. Bell hurried Lulu down the hall, and they burst into the principal's office. Come. Ika-fricka! Whoa! Mr. Thomas said, what's all that horrible hubbub about? Mrs. Bell said, Lulu's been trying to razzle-dazzle me with some kind of a lippity-loppity jibber-jabber, and now I'm all helter-skelter. Mr. Thomas raised his eyebrows. Tut-tut, someone sounds like a silly-willy hocus-pocus to me. Mrs. Bell's mouth dropped open. If your mouth drops open, what does that mean?
It's well,
Well, no, how are you feeling?
you feel sad, shocked, surprised,
Shocked or surprised. She pointed to the principal and said, Ika-frika! Lulu's got your tongue all topsy-turvy too. Now, don't get the Jim Jams, Mrs. Bell. Let's give the nurse a yoo-hoo. Mr. Thomas picked up this phone and said, Mrs. Carter, I'm going to pitter-patter over to your office. Okie dokie? All three went across the hall to the nurse's office. Mr. Thomas said, howdy doody, Mrs. Carter. We're a little wacko-wacko. Lulu's got us talking this sing-song clap-trap like we're cuckoo. Mrs. Carter smiled at Lulu and said, fiddle-faddle, Lulu and I are palsy-walsies. She wouldn't try that kind of phony baloney tutti-frutti flim-flam. Chop-chop, flim-flam, wowie-zowie, jeepers-creepers. Lulu and her teacher and the principal stared at the nurse. Lulu said, wowsy-zowsy. Mrs. Bell said, jeepers-creepers. And Mr. Thomas said, holy moly, you're in the same hodgepodge we're in. I'd better give the superintendent a jingle-jangle. Chop-chop. So notice how Miss Cattau, while I'm reading, I'm sounding like the characters. I don't know, you can't see this, but there's exclamation marks constantly. So that is showing me that it's really important that I'm making my voice sound excited, because these people are like, what is going on? We can't stop repeating words. We can't stop using rhyming words. It's crazy. Ding-a-ling, ding-dang, tick-tock, chick-chat, yak-yak, mongo-mongo, nitty-gritty, perky-jerky, mumbo-jumbo. Wait one, ding-dang, tick-tock, shouted the nurse. If you chit-chat with the big wig, then he'll yak-yak like Lulu too. If we're not very, very hush-hush about this, there could be a mongo-mongo brain drain, and everybody in Walla Walla will be talking like a herky-jerky ding-a-ling. Then the nurse turned to Lulu. Lulu, let's get to the nitty-gritty. Nitty-gritty? When did all this mumbo-jumbo start? Lulu gulped. You know gulp? How does that mean if you gulp, you're usually feeling scared or nervous? She said, so I know she's sad or scared because it's a gulp, so I'm going to make my voice sound like that. In English class, I had an itsy-bitsy problem with my homework, and then zip-zap, Mrs. Bell said talking like this was a no-no. The nurse looked over the top of her glasses at Lulu. Something like this would not just happen willy-nilly. Now, Lulu, think extra, extra hard and tell me what you did yesterday. Well, said Lulu, it was a really humdrum day. Humdrum means boring, that's a real word. I was practicing ballet in my tutu when my little brother Bobo asked me to play on the teeter-totter. We seesawed until Bobo slipped off and got a boo-boo and started to boo-boo. Mama and Papa came running pell-mell, so I went inside and splish-splashed in a rub-a-dub tub and then hip-hopped into my cuddly-wuddly Betty. I said night-night to Mama and Papa and Bobo and fell asleep in a snip-snap. That's all I did. Honest. Uh-oh, orf, orf, meow, meow. What are these? Arf, arf, meow, meow.
Cats and dolls. Cats and dolls. They chase
So
Very
good. That's a sound word, so that makes the same sound. Bobo. Boo, boo. Wow. Razzmatazz. Walla, walla. Mrs. Carter said, Lulu, it seems to me that you've opened up a knock'em sock'em wibble wobble word warp. I usually don't believe in this kind of hoodoo bunko junko, but if it was going to happen anywhere, it would probably happen right here in Walla Walla. Mrs. Bell said, let's not quibble quabble, Mrs. Carter. I'm getting the heebie-jeebies from all this razzmatazz. So again, while we're reading, you guys are doing a good job finding the rhyming words. Remember, this is all part of the author's craft. He wrote this book to have it be interesting and to get you guys excited. He added lots of those rhyming words to make it interesting. Let's do-see-do. Hey, Lulu, let's get this harem-scarum show on the road. We should say all the rootin', tootin', crinkum-crankum, woolly-bully words we can think of. Maybe that will clear the air and close the warp. Worth a try? Asked Nurse Carter. Mr. Thomas said, aye, aye. Mrs. Bell said, let's do-see-do. And Lulu said, uh-oh. Nurse Carter closed the door to her office, and she turned around and said, Lulu, let's get this harem-scarum show on the road. Lulu stood right up and blurted out, ticky-tacky, knick-knock, coochie-coochie-coo, hubba-hubba, roger-dodger, ooey-gooey-goo. Mrs. Carter cleared her throat and said, hugger-mugger, hob-nob, pitter-patter, bon-bon, wishy-washy, squish-squash, handy-dandy, mish-mash. Very good. So you kind of started to pick up. Freddie, how did you know you were supposed to start the beat there? Yeah, it had a bunch of rhyming words, and you're kind of singing them in a sing-song way. Again, part of the author's craft. They want you to get a rhythm. Mr. Thomas closed his eyes and started slowly, but picked up speed. So as soon as you notice that I'm kind of, yeah, you guys ready? Eensy beensy choo choo, teeny tiny hurdy gurdy, roly poly rag tag, hurly burly rip rap, rumble tumble hip hop, teeny weeny pop pop, namby tammy hippy dippy, hoity hoity hot chop. And then Mrs. Bell stood up, took a deep breath, putt putt, boom blank blank, going going ring a ding 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 dang boom, never never wig wonk. Turkey, lurkey, tom, tom, tootsie, wootsy, tattle, tattle, tee, tee. Very good. So what's happening? You can shout this out. What's happening to all these people? It's like spreading. Could this be a real disease?
No.
So what kind of book is this?
Fiction.
Good. And then, without warning, words flooded the air. Fuzzy, wuzzy, fuddy-duddy, loosey-goosey, lovey-dovey, kissy-kissy, huggy-huggy, rinka-dinka-doo. Gaga, rah-rah, go-go, so-go, frou-frou, go-go, hoo-hoo-woo-woo, rinky-dinky, arf-arf, argy-bargy, whoop-whoop, boogie-woogie, pow-wow, super-duper, pooper, super, clippity-cloppity, tippity-hoppity, clickety-clackety, rickety-rackety, blah-blah-blah-blah, blah-blah-blah-blah, ha-ha-ha, clip-clop, drip-drop, click-clack, rick-rack, eager-beaver, lucky-ducky, comfy-dumpy, cat-cat, hee-haw, tweet-tweet, chirp-chirp, cheep-cheep, cluck-cluck, quack-quack, yuck-yuck-yuck. Bozo, yozo, heyday, mayday, hokey pokey, yankee, panky, goody, goody, yum, yum, yummy, yummy, tum, tum, gimme, gimme, gobble, gobble, jelly belly, jum, jum, voodoo, boop, toot, moo, moo, poo, poo, ching, clang, yin, yang, ching, ching, wing, ding, pow, wow, pow, pow, peg, leg, jet, set, shoulda, woulda, coulda, better, hadda, oughta, ship, shape, some, bump, achy, breaky, do that, I, my, reg, beg, tie, dot, beep, beep, oh, oh, paw, paw, yo, yo, fruta, Humpty Dumpty. Oh God. Penny Humpty Dumpty. And then, suddenly, silence.
They lost their voice.
Why do you think nothing's coming up?
They lost their voice.
Lost their voice? Or what else might have happened?
They lost their
See that the curse is broken? Lulu, Mrs. Bell, and Mr. Thomas slumped. You know, slump. What does that mean? You're feeling good. Slumped into chairs, and Mrs. Carter flopped onto the cot against the wall. Was it over? No one dared to speak. They're all kind of nervous because what do they think is going to happen if they talk?
They're going to rhyme
They
again.
start rhyming. Lulu whispered, Mrs. Carter, may I please have a drink of water? Mrs. Carter sat up and said, of course you may, my dear. Mrs. Bell smiled weakly at the principal and said, you were magnificent, sir. Mr. Thomas perked up and smiled at everyone. He straightened his tie and said, I think we've done it, people. Were there any rhyming words there?
No.
What do you think? Do you think the curse is over?
Yeah.
Let's see. Mrs. Carter sat down at her desk and went back to checking over her posture records. Mr. Thomas walked across the hall to his office and went back to the letter he was writing. Lulu followed Mrs. Bell down the hallway and soon had her English homework all straightened out. And after English, it was just an ordinary Monday in Walla. Bye-bye, Mrs. Ding Dong. Ta-ta.